Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. We have the best farmers in this country who produce food to the highest animal welfare standards, and we should be very proud. Food security is a key part of national security. I urge the government to look at the EFRA Select Committee's report from the last Parliament on food security. The previous government took on the recommendations of an annual food security report, and I urge the government to continue with that. The government must protect the farming budget and not cut it. It must protect land and not bulldoze it with solar. We've got to make sure that solar goes in the right places, on industrial buildings and brownfield, on rooftops, but not on prime food-producing land. We must also protect the inputs. In the last few years, we've lost the ability to produce a lot of fertiliser in the United Kingdom, and we need to make sure that we look at that in terms of resilience. Biosecurity is a key part of national security. As we have heard, we have a lot of cases of blue tongue now in the south and the east of England. We know what happened in the last couple of years with avian influenza, and we have African swine fever advancing up the continent. The government must act and must support the Animal and Plant Health Agency. It is in urgent need of a full redevelopment. The EFRA Select Committee have called for that, and I know that the DEFRA department wants it, so I urge ministers to make the case to Treasury to fund that in full.
I'm very grateful to my honourable friend for giving way. He guessed it on the Public Accounts Committee last year when we had a full inquiry into this. There is a real need for proper capital investment in here because the biosecurity of the nation is at risk from not having properly biosecure laboratories.
I thank the Chair of the Public Accounts Committee for that. It's so important that the government listens to this and funds the redevelopment of the APHA in full. My journey into politics started in 2001 when we had the outbreak of foot and mouth. And I've seen the implications then. I saw sites then I never want to see again in my lifetime. And we've seen what happens when biosecurity breaks down. This touches on some of the mental health impacts that have been touched on in the debate today. I'll happily give away. Yep.
Thank you very much, Madam Jennifer, for giving way on that point about farmers' mental health. As my neighbouring MP, would you join me in championing Yana, a local charity that now is stretching into Essex called You Are Not Alone, which actually supports the mental health of farmers and rural workers?
Thank the honourable member for that intervention. I'd be happy to champion Yana and RABI, Yellow Wellies, all the institutions and charities that support mental health. I urge the government to look at the EFRA Select Committee's report last year on rural mental health that touches on many of these issues with key recommendations. We need to support our farming communities when they have serious things happen, like flooding, like disease outbreaks as well. When you have more chronic things happening, when periodic TB testing and you get a positive result on the farm, we need to make sure that farmers, vets, everyone are supported with their mental health. It is so important. We talked about flooding today. People in rural communities and in urban communities in flood risk areas, they have the anxiety of worrying about being flooded. Then they have the trauma of being flooded. I urge ministers, you will be, I apologise, I didn't speak of it. Ministers will be called out in their wellies in floods. And these communities need to be supported when the waters go down and when the blue lights leave. That is a key recommendation of our report as well. We need to protect the farming budget, and we need to make sure that the money goes out in terms of the Farming Recovery Fund to support flooded communities. We can help our farming communities, we can help our food-producing communities. We encourage people to buy British. I pay tribute to the NFU, the Honourable Member for Bosworth, for the Buy British campaign that all the British supermarkets have signed up to as well. We need to support our local communities to eat local, buy local. That's so good for local communities. It's also good for the animals as well in terms of reducing distance time to slaughter and also reducing food miles. Give way.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend giving way. As a distinguished vet, he's making a powerful case as well on welfare standards. Would you agree with me that one of the great prizes of British agriculture is it sets such high welfare standards? And one of the things the last government did was the legislation on transport of animals and setting ever higher standards for UK farmers.
Absolutely, and that was a key bill that came through. Animal welfare is something that unites us in humanity across this House, and I urge us to work cross-party to support that. And as I said, Farmers in this country produce to the highest animal welfare standards, and we should be proud and we should protect them. Finally, I'll carry on if I'll give way just quickly.
We'll give way. My understanding is that the 2019 Conservative Party manifesto said, when we leave the EU, we'll be able to encourage the public sector to buy British, to support our farmers and reduce environmental costs. What went wrong?
I thank the honourable member for his intervention. I'll finish up now by saying food security is national security, biosecurity is national security. We must protect both.